What's happening, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Whistlekick Martial Arts Radio. I'm Jeremy Lesniak, joined by my great friend, co-host, producer, event co-promoter, uh,
I wear many.
dinner
I wear
friend.
many. I
Yeah,
wear many hats. Although
such the right hat.
the only hat I
What do you
have
have for
right
hat?
now is my generic sports hat.
Andrew Adams, and today's episode is mostly from you, from the audience. We asked you what you were grateful for regarding martial arts, and a bunch of you responded. And we're going to read some of those responses today and talk about them. And I've got a feeling that you, whoever you are, will identify with a lot of what we're going to say.
Likely.
This episode is dropping on American Thanksgiving, and Andrew, this was your idea. Maybe we can do something that reminds people that martial arts is something to be grateful for. Because I think for a lot of us, it's been in our lives for so long that we often forget that there are people who don't train, that don't have martial arts in their lives.
Yeah, yeah. I would agree, and or there are people that might be listening that don't recognize all of the things that they could be grateful for with martial arts. And so maybe what we
Sure.
talk about today of these comments from other people might get some gears turning for yourself. And if so, awesome. That's great.
I hope so. I hope so. Of course, if you are new to what we do, well, you've stumbled on a great episode. Thanks for being here. We drop 2 episodes a week. Martial Arts Radio is the #1 traditional martial arts podcast, at least in English, because we don't look at the other ones, because we don't speak other languages. And if you want to learn all the things that we do with the show, you can go to whistlekickmartialartsradio.com. And if you want to see all the things that we do as an organization at Whistlekick, we are so much more than the show, please visit whistlekick.com. Anything else we should say, Andrew, before we rant
Um,
along?
I would say that if you are watching this, you can see this really awesome T-shirt that I have right here, which is very appropriate for today's episode. And if you are,
Grateful shirt.
that's right. And if you are watching on YouTube, please hit that like and subscribe button. Hit the notification bell so you get notified when all the episodes come out. I know that it seems really silly, or it perhaps seems silly for people watching, but it really makes a difference in our algorithms to help our stuff be seen by other people. So do us this small solid and hit those buttons.
We work hard, and the best stuff that we do at Whistlekick, we give away. And we ask you to do things to help us out when we can and when you can. And this is about as small as you can do. So,
Yep.
thanks to those who have and those that will. And to those of you who won't, shame on you. All right, let's jump in. Let's start. Do you want to kick off, Andrew, with the
Sure.
first
Sure.
grateful response?
Yeah, so for those that didn't see it on my Facebook, maybe you're not friends of mine on Facebook, in which case shoot me a message. Let's be friends. I love having new friends. I posted that you and I were going to be recording today an episode for the podcast that will release on American Thanksgiving. And I asked people what they were grateful for martial art wise and would be comfortable with us talking about in an episode. I wanted to be very clear, if you post something here, we are going to talk about it and talk about you. So hopefully this doesn't catch anybody by surprise who didn't read all the way to the bottom. So the first response was from our new friend of the show and friend of ours, Paul Coffey, who was recorded an episode a few months ago. And we met him for the first time at Martial Summit a few weeks ago. And he said, martial art wise, I'm thankful for Whistlekick and for Martial Summit that is next year. So he's grateful for something to look forward to. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm grateful for Paul. Andrew, what's the name of Paul's show again?
Keep Kicking.
Paul has a podcast. Keep Kicking. Paul's a great guy. If you pay attention to this show, I've got a really good feeling that you would also appreciate what Paul's doing. A lot of great podcasts out there. I'm grateful for martial arts podcasts. not just the one that we do. I'm grateful for the connections that podcasting has made. One of the things we talk about internally is that this show ultimately is the glue that has connected us with so many people. Everybody who hangs out on the core team came through because of the podcast, directly or indirectly. And so that's a
Yep.
lot of fun.
Yeah, very true.
Yeah. This next one comes from Fern Reader. Grateful for wise, good instructors, and also in some way, I'm grateful to have seen both sides of the coin, having good instruction and instructors versus not so good instruction and instructors. Gives me a lot to think on. Grateful to be able to see the shift in how my body responds now versus the beginning of this journey. Grateful for how my perspective on life has shifted due to being in martial arts, as well as the way I carry myself has shifted.
Yeah, yeah. I
A lot
want to
there.
I want to pick out one of the things that Fern said. Grateful to be able to see the shift in how my body responds now versus the beginning of this journey. I think a lot of people forget where they came from. And I see it all the time in the drum lessons that I teach. You know, it. I think in a lot of ways it's easier to see progress when you're doing a skill that is not so subjective. In a lot of ways, martial arts can be subjective, but in drumming, it's like you can either do the thing or you can't, if that makes sense, right? And we have those things in martial arts. You can do this kick or you can't, but in general, it's a little harder sometimes to see that progress. And I think if people can take a moment to sit back and realize where they were, I think there's a lot to be grateful there and where they are now.
I think it's really important in every aspect of life to take a step back from where you are and remember the effort that you've put in and where it has led you, the skills that you've developed, the understanding you've gained. And martial arts is not always easy to do with that because we generally look forward, right? We're looking at what is the next thing. Martial arts doesn't really ever get easier. We just continually raise the bar. And that can inspire us to continually keep our blinders on, and we've got everything focused in front. Which, I mean, let's face it, if somebody's trying to punch you or you we shouldn't be looking behind you. But metaphorically, yeah, we've got to take a look periodically where we've come from. Otherwise, we completely lose perspective. And when we get into rather some of those plateaus, for a lot of us, there are stretches of time where it doesn't seem like things are getting easier or better or we're developing new skill. It's that look back that can inspire us to continue moving forward.
Mm. Yeah. Yep. I love that. So thank you, Fern, for giving us that to chat about. The next comment was from another longtime friend of the show, Mark Warner. And Mark said he is grateful for all of my martial arts friends with all their love and respect for one another.
You know, I think if you spend a lot of your time in the martial arts circles on the internet, you might think that this is uncommon. But I truly believe that the disrespectful, critical segment of martial artists is a loud minority.
Mm.
I
Yeah.
really do. And my hope to all of you out there is that if you do have great martial arts friends, whether you train with them or you don't train with them, whether you know them in person or online, thank them. Let them know
Mm.
you're grateful. Martial arts is better with other people, right? We know that you can only go so far without training partners. And the more great training partners you have, and great instructors you have, and great students you have, the further you progress as a martial artist.
Yeah.
Without them, yeah, you can be grateful for your own training, but there's less to be grateful for.
Yeah.
I'm grateful
I
for Mark.
Oh, absolutely. Me as am I. I think the one thing that I think as well we might think about, and maybe this is for another episode, but I agree with you. I think those that don't have love and respect for one another in all the martial arts friends, they are a vocal minority, but I also think there's a pretty large number that they they don't necessarily have it, but they don't say it either. If that makes sense. Like they're not like I love you across town, it's great, I respect you. It's more like I don't love and respect you, but I'm just not going to say anything. Maybe that's an episode topic for another
At least
episode.
that's better. At least that's better.
That's true.
And yeah, I think that would be an interesting topic for us to unpack, and maybe we can find some folks who have been in that mix more in it.
Mm.
I'll be frank. I haven't had a lot of, in terms of running my school, disrespect. Most people have been very respectful in my general area of what I am doing. Now,
Mm.
there's been some disrespect when it comes to Whistlekick, but I try not to beat that on the show, that drum on the show too often, because I don't want to give the haters attention.
Yep. All right, you want to read the next one?
Yeah, this one's from Tina Wood. I'm grateful for my instructors who helped me build my confidence. Strength pushed me just enough, so I keep trying to better myself. I'm thankful for meeting so many other martial artists. Hold on. And learning from them all. I may have flubbed that a little bit. Apologies, Tina. I think you all get the gist. It's good to have people that push you in the right way.
Yeah. Yeah. I talk about often we as people live in bubbles, right? Some people's comfort level, their bubble is much bigger than others, right? Some people, their bubble might be a little bit smaller. And I think growing as an individual happens when you step outside your bubble just for a little bit, even if it's just I'm dipping my toe on the other side of the bubble and then coming back and realizing, oh, you know what? It was okay when I did that. And then your bubble can get a little bit bigger. And having the instructors that are willing to push you to help get better is something for sure to be grateful for. Yeah. All right.
Everybody needs
I'm going to read that. Yeah. Even instructors need instructors. We've done a podcast about it. All right. Next comment came in from Nate Klumsky, another longtime listener of the show. And Nate said, I am thankful that despite all the politics, my style is better than yours, etc., all of those things, that in the end, in most cases, there is a brotherhood and mutually shared respect, which I think echoes a lot of the sentiment that Mark was being grateful for as well.
I would say that, again, almost everybody, I really think almost everybody is at least tolerant, because if you've been training a long time, you know what it takes to get to a point of competency. Maybe you don't see the value in what they do. Maybe it doesn't work for you. Maybe that's not how you would train. Maybe their why isn't your why. But you know what? I can appreciate that they invested their time in developing that skill. And I think we're at a really interesting place in the martial arts. And looking at Nate's comment here, there is a gender neutral brotherhood or fraternity grouping, and I don't just mean Whistlekick. I mean, in general, there are a lot of people supporting a lot of other people, and I think that's great.
Mm-hmm.
All right, next, Gage Hanlon of Kitaro fame. This is not a sponsored episode, but we should acknowledge that Kitaro does do a lot for us, and we appreciate them. We appreciate Gage, and I was just messaging Gage like an hour ago because I appreciate him, that he was doing something for us. Martial arts was the anchor that kept me grounded when I went through personal turmoil. I sincerely doubt I would have made it out the other side of that turmoil as sanely as I did if I didn't have training teaching as an emotional regulatory process. I can identify.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of us can. Which shirt am I wearing? What am I wearing? I am wearing my, I'll show you the bottom of the shirt because I think it fits really well. This was not an intended product placement, but martial arts, because sometimes therapy is too slow. You can get that at whistlekick.com.
Yeah, and
right? Like I
Yeah,
think for
yeah.
a lot of us,
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
go ahead. You go
I was
ahead.
just
I'm grateful for you. You go ahead.
I was going to say that I think a lot of people can relate to this, whether they got into martial arts because they were in a bad place, or martial arts was the thing that helped them through a difficult time. I think that's something that a lot of us can relate to.
Absolutely. You want to grab the next one?
All right, so next is from Adam Beckley, whose interview dropped a few months ago. You can go check that out. And he said, I am thankful to how warm and welcoming that the community of Whistlekick has been. They make me feel that I have value.
Grateful for Adam and for what he says there. And I think I hope he's not going to be embarrassed or anything that I say this. I think Adam the way Adam is in his martial arts school is quietly very common. He works really hard. He doesn't have a massive school, but the amount of contribution coming back from him to his local community, to the martial arts, to his students, it's so incredible. And I am inspired watching him. It's
Hmm.
really incredible. And I think quite often we don't know about the great stuff that a lot of other martial artists are doing because they're quiet about it. And one of the things that we try to do here is showcase what other martial artists are doing, but there are far too many of you for us to do it for everybody. I mean, it'd be we'd never get to the end, right?
Yeah.
If all of you were telling us the great things that others are doing in the martial arts world, we would just be constantly reading. This would be it would be the CNN of martial arts, but with no commercials and no spin. Um, it's not a political thing. All TV is spin, right? We could just sit here and read 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 and read, and we just get it. There'd be more. Be more. It's like the mail. There's always more,
Yep. Yep.
and I
All
would
right.
be grateful for that too.
All right. You want to read the next one?
I do. This one's from Nick Tabor. I am thankful for everything that has come from being in the Whistlekick family. Absolutely everything has gotten better. For martial arts wise, I'm thankful for everything. Hard lessons learned that have made me stand taller and stronger than I ever could have imagined. Martial arts has given so much to me that I will spend the rest of my life giving back. And I just want to, Kevin chimes in on that. That's it, Nick. Keyword is giving. Yeah, I think I mean, that's kind of where you're at too, isn't it? Right? You're so grateful that you're giving back.
Yeah, absolutely. I was given a lot through martial arts, and it, as other people have mentioned already, it got me through some difficult times, and I appreciate the that I have the ability to start to give back and passing on what I have learned to others, and I think that's a great thing to be grateful for. All right, next we've got from
Absolutely.
Megan McIntyre. I am thankful
How are
for
you?
the martial arts family that I have gained. I'm grateful for the friendships and support I've received from those I train with weekly and those I have met through Martial Summit or free training days. I am mostly grateful that my body is still allowing me to participate in martial arts.
One of the things that I think deserves more gratitude for all of us is what our body allows us to do. We tend to focus on what our body won't do in that moment. I wish I was more flexible. I wish I was stronger. I wish I had all of these things. But sometimes we've got to focus on the good stuff. We've got to focus on what we can do, what our body allows us to do. It's pretty powerful. It's pretty important. And this one's from Stephen Watson. Thankful to each of my training partners along the way, even the ones who attended just that one trial class along the way. I'm grateful for the pop culture martial arts that definitely do martial arts very wrong, but inspires so many people, unlike me, to a study of the arts. Everything that happens in and out of the martial arts related to martial arts has an impact on martial arts. I'm grateful for all the terrible movies that get people to train.
Yeah. Yep. I agree. And I think it's, we both know Steven well enough to know, he's a pretty funny guy. And his comment even about, that they're doing it wrong. I'm looking, did he put it in air quotes? Cause that's something he
Uh,
would have done.
No, no, no. I don't think he would ever. Well, maybe he would, but I have never heard him say that about actual martial artists. But when we're talking about movies or something, yeah,
Yeah.
I could see him saying it.
Yeah, absolutely. But again, a fairly common theme. Thankful for people that he's worked with that have helped him, and we've talked often about how when you're an instructor, your students are helping you. Like you learn from everybody. So yeah, I totally get that.
Everybody's cheering you on along the path, regardless of whether or not they know it or not. Your
Yep.
participation. Sure.
All right. So
You got Jason's.
yep, we have just a few more left here. Jason Fitzsimmons says, I'm thankful for the purpose martial arts provides. I have recently had to take a leave of absence from martial arts while I build up a new life. I miss it. Not just the people, but the opportunity to make someone feel great by teaching them something new or coaching them into good board breaking form or taking a break from the everyday routine and playing some fun games. I look forward to returning in full soon. You all rock. Keep up the good vibes.
Martial arts gives me purpose. I mean, what would I be without what we do here? So this is what I've been working on for 15 years.
Yeah,
Whistlekick. And without martial arts, I would not have started Whistlekick. I wouldn't know you.
that's very true.
We would have never met.
That
Pretty
makes me
sad.
sad.
It does.
So I'm grateful for martial arts.
Michael says, I'm grateful for all the martial artists I've met in my journey. I'm grateful for everything that I've got to learn. Mm.
Yeah,
The education piece, right? Like it's such a big part.
yeah. And
The
Jason
opportunities for
Jason
learning.
mentioned it in his comment before that the opportunity to make someone feel great by teaching them something new. Like I love that.
I I had a moment, I'm not going to go into detail on it, but I had a moment with a student that's been with me for since day one with this school. And he managed to do something. He's got there's some challenges in there. And he managed to knock out something yesterday that I would not have expected to happen based on where things had been recently. Something clicked, and the smile on his face, the effort that he put in. I mean, it just nothing else in the last few weeks have mattered as much as watching the results of this hard work and the persistence.
Mm,
So grateful for that.
yeah.
Wish I could say more.
No, it's okay. All right. The next comment comes from Kevin Como, who I know very well, another past guest of the show, episode 666. Just a funny number that I just happen to remember.
Yeah,
Uh,
that is not
Kevin,
a reflection of Kevin or how we feel about him,
no,
or
in fact,
our
I
yeah.
have a lot of respect for Kevin. He was one of the instructors at my very first martial arts school, so he was there in the beginning. So, uh, unsurprising, a little bit of a lengthy response because he's so thoughtful. He says, great question. I'm thankful for a lot and thought a lot about it. I could write a long essay on the things I'm grateful for, but I guess my number one would have to be that martial arts gives me a way to interact with children that they find really exciting. So they are motivated to keep coming, while also giving me a chance to promote really important values. Kids listen to the black belt. Like putting kale in your kids' smoothies, we can sneak in some deeply important moral formation information to give them a solid foundation for living while they are having a great time. As a sidebar to that, because my program is small and non competitive, I tend to attract kids with neurodivergent tendencies and executive functioning issues, i.e., kids who don't do well in organized sports, kids who are a total handful at home and school and cause their adults daily grief. They behave and regulate themselves so well in martial arts context. It is a gift to them and me.
gratitude for something that you're already grateful for, right? The gratitude to impact children and the gratitude for the method by which you can better impact. We talk about martial arts as a language sometimes, right? We talk about techniques and forums and sparring as letters or words or poems or stories, right? However you want to look at that metaphor. And in this case, martial arts is like a textbook.
Mm.
If I follow this process, I can create this education. Todd Miller, recent guest on the show, recent friend to both of us. I'm grateful for being shown the path. Now let's get to walking.
Now, that's an interesting comment. So his episode releases next Monday, December 1st. So as you're listening to this, you got a sneak peek. And we're not really letting the cat out of the bag because he mentioned on Facebook
You
that
should never keep cats in a bag.
yeah, that's true. But I'm grateful for being shown the path. Now let's get to walking. Walking the path is something he talks about in his episode. So you'll just have to listen to hear more about it.
All right, we got one more.
All right, the last one, Karen Chandler. I am thankful for the friends and acquaintances I have made in the martial arts and for the continued growth I am experiencing.
That might be the thing that I am most grateful for, that martial arts is never ending.
Mm.
There's always more to learn, always more people to connect with, always further developmental benefits from training. It's it's the one thing that will never fail you.
Mm.
People can fail you. Investments can fail you. Martial arts won't fail you.
Yep. Yep. I think for me, we haven't yet asked each other
Mm,
what we're thankful for or grateful for. And I'm gonna jump in front of you. You haven't asked me yet, but I'm gonna tell everybody
right.
what I'm grateful for, and it goes right in hand with Karen, with the friends and acquaintances that we've met in martial arts. And when I think about it, it's not that every friend and acquaintance in martial arts I know I've met through Whistlekick, but a vast majority have been through Whistlekick. And if we look at this list of people that commented, Paul Coffey, Fern Reeder, Mark Warner, those three I wouldn't have met if it wasn't for Whistlekick. Tina Wood, I would have met because of friends here in town. Nate Klumsky, Gage, Adam, Nick, Megan McIntyre, Stephen Watson, Jason Fitzsimmons. Again, people I would not have met if it had not been for Whistlekick in some way or form. Um, and then Todd Miller and Karen Chandler, same thing. So I'm grateful for Whistlekick and all that it has brought to connect me to so many other people. I'm grateful for that.
And it may sound redundant, but same. This is why the slogan is connect, educate, entertain, right? The connections are first, even for us. We find the value in it. And I am grateful that this monster that I get the honor of shepherding brings me so much. So, yeah. If we do this again, we should create a Thanksgiving table. Decide which thing about martial arts is the mashed potatoes.
Oh,
Which is the
interesting.
stuffing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We could argue because then we have to argue about which of those foods are better than others, and which one is the pearl onions and cream sauce.
You know what? I love pearl onions and cream sauce.
Yeah. See, exactly. We'd have to come up with something that you love in martial arts that I do not, and uh, avert my eyes when other people do it.
Love
Oh,
it.
I mean, I just thought of something that you know what it is that I avert my eyes for. We're not going to say it publicly, but you would also avert your eyes if you saw it. So um, I'll remind you after we close in case you've forgotten. It, anything we got to add? I think
No,
I think we
I,
got this.
I think that's good. If you uh, listen to this episode on American Thanksgiving or shortly thereafter, and you would like to comment and let us know what you're thankful for or grateful for, please do reach out. Let us know.
Yep. You can comment wherever you listen. Spotify lets you comment. Apple Podcast lets you comment. Where else? You can comment.
YouTube.
We always post. YouTube lets you comment, of course. We always post the episodes in a Facebook page, Martial Arts Radio. So you can find that. You can join if you're not already a member there, and post your comment there. Wherever you see it, we want to know what you're grateful for. It does mean a lot to us when you all comment, and we're grateful for you. So thank you for your spending some time with us, continuing to watch or listen, sharing the show, and if you're having Thanksgiving with others and you don't want to talk to the people at your table, you can take a phone, you can message your martial arts friends and say, "What are you grateful for in the martial arts?" And see what they say. You can have your own side conversation that isn't about politics or the other things that I think some of us are going to suffer through at the table this year. Until next time, oh, this one's going to go great. Train
Train
hard,
hard,
smile,
smile, and
and
have a
have a
great day.
great day.